Hello, everybody. Welcome. Jeff, you must be happy that people is more interested on tests than IoT cloud, so that's good. We just have a marketing cloud session. It was very good, and what I like about this is we're going to talk about IoT and the possibilities, and then we talk about customer experience, right? How do we do what I want to say, like a three-dimensional of data and customer engagement? But before that, I am here with my business partner, Jeff White, and my name is Rafael Hernandez. We are both the founders of SourceJeff. We are a consulting firm. You can find us. There's our emails there and our Twitter. We like to post things about how to make clients' life and experience
Try to have
better.
a lot of fun. Try to have a lot of fun. Rafa told me that I could only be here to play the drum, and I couldn't actually touch any of the wires, so I'll try not to.
So let's talk about what you guys see. This is a Cajon. This is a Peruvian instrument, and as a matter of fact, it's been in a lot of countries. This Cajon has been in more countries than the average person in the U.S., right? This was in Uruguay, was in Argentina, was in Spain, it's been in Texas, it was in Portland, and this is his final stage. It's here at the
And true story, it was actually run over by a beverage cart this morning in the training room. So
it did. It almost died, and we were not able to do this. But let me tell you how this all happened. So one of the funny parts is that 6 years ago, I was somebody like you guys sitting there and then wishing that I, at some point, learn enough to come and share it with the community, right? I don't see any other community like Salesforce that lets you do that. After a few years, you can come up here and share the knowledge that you have. So back in the day, in 2015, I was working for Deloitte, and then we have a football table, right? Everybody now has football tables at work, kind of like relax and chill out. And then we get very braggy about who was the best. And then we're like, well, let's figure out who's the best at playing football. Like, how do we do it? Well, let's connect the football table to Salesforce. And we did it, right? You guys probably saw that in 2015. We demoed that here. We have another presentation. The good thing about this, we realized how much football we were playing every day, right? It was a lot. But we're still making a lot of good progress. You know, there's a lot of discussions about how many hours should you work a day, right? And if you see, hey, these guys are fully billable and working 6 hours for real, and they are relaxing the next time, then you got good data for your employees, right? But that's what we did in 2015. And after that, I just got passionate about creating things and getting data into Salesforce. And if you remember 2015, one of the things that we were going through is going through Lightning, right? People didn't want to go to Lightning, and still there's people who is not in Lightning. Who's not in Lightning yet? Who's still in Classic? There's still a lot of people who doesn't want to go to Lightning. So 3 years ago, I was like, I'm going to do something else. I'm going to connect another thing.
why'd you decide in the Cajon?
Because I was like, I need something that does something crazy. I was like, I want an animation inside Lightning, and I need to connect something to that. So I started going to Amazon. It's like instruments that you can do yourself. The Cajon pop up, and that's how it became. But we're going to talk about the Cajon in a minute. We are very passionate about IoT. I also have a homemade Google Home that actually you can ask, what's this customer number? And it actually go to Salesforce, check the number, spit it back to you. And I also have a full IoT integration. Are you guys already into the IoT Explorer Edition? It's in Trailhead. It's awesome. You guys can play around with it. What I did, it's so easy to go and send data to Salesforce, but how do you actually do something meaningful with that data? So I have a thermometer at home. You know, Minneapolis, it gets a little cold. So I have that connected to a thermometer who actually in the summer turns a fan on in my house. And when the temperature is back to a normal set, I turn it off. Everything using Salesforce Developer Edition. So you guys can go to my website and you can see that. But let's talk more about the Cajon.
Yeah, I want to play the Cajon. Come on.
You're going to ask that question. That's why Jeff is here. We got this session. He's always asking. What do you always ask?
Why not? Why are you doing this?
He's always asking why. Us as developer, we just want to do things, right? But the answer is why not, right? If you see Saint's presentation that he does for developers, innovation is finding things that we can use to generate more knowledge. Every time I build something, it gives me more knowledge, right? Remember that I built this 3 years ago. Now I went to Uruguay to present this. I found some guys in Uruguay that has a basketball connected to Salesforce. And like, how do you come up with an idea? Oh, we went to Dreamforce in 2015 and saw this football table. That's amazing, right? You do something, inspire other people to do other things, right? And then on top of that, they were like, but we are using platform events instead. They're like, really? So I learned something from those guys who learned from something that I did 3 years ago, right? So that was just pretty amazing. And then evangelization, right? How many people, Jeff, goes and tells you, oh, Salesforce is that platform, that it's a box, that you cannot do anything?
Too many.
It happens, too many, right? Even if you work for a big organization, like, oh, what do you do? I'm in the Salesforce team. Oh, yeah, that thing that you cannot do anything. Well, I have a musical instrument connected to it. They're like, no, you don't. Yes, I do. Then other developers, I normally try to go to developer meetup groups. We bring these for new people. They love it, right? They get engaged with Salesforce, and they start becoming Salesforce developers because we need a lot of Salesforce developers. So you can also transform these into real projects, right? If you have clients who need data, you can transform all these things. Just use your imagination, and you can do a lot of things with it. I will talk more about in a little minute there. Let me tell you how does it work, very quick for those who like IoT and everything. So you have the basic Cajon, and it has a Cat5 cable. Anybody wants to guess why am I using a Cat5 cable? Anybody? No? Because it's very cheap. It's $2. When I first did this, I have one foot connected to my computer. That cost me $15 just to get those cables, right? And I was like, oh, every time I demo, it was too long. Like, I need something else. This is a $2 option. So you can use any wire for that. You have just a resistor, and then you have a piezo sensor. Those who like music, your electric guitars have these sensors in there. What it does, detects the vibration every time you strum, and sends a 1 to 124 data into whatever you have it connected to. So that's basically how it works. I am using two things, Arduino, and then I'm also using a Raspberry Pi. The only reason I'm not using the Raspberry Pi by itself is because the Raspberry Pis only accept digital information, right? Ones and zeros. The Arduino, on the other hand, is analog. So all the information, remember that I say 1 to 24 in here, goes to the Arduino, and then it sends the data using a serial cable into the Raspberry Pi. For those who remember the AOL connections, it's a slow connection, so bear with me. Now was a challenge. I already have the data. I have everything there. What do I do with it? Well, I use this thing called a streaming API. Have you guys used a streaming API? It is just awesome. You just put a Salesforce page, and it gives you notifications something else happened. You subscribe to a record, and it tells you when that record has been deleted, updated, inserted, whatever you want. And then you can do whatever you want with that information. I'm using a regular Salesforce page, and I'm using processing programming. Have you guys heard of processing programming? No? It's a JavaScript library that allows you to do animations on a browser. It's used by musicians and artists. It's actually awesome. And then I am doing a Salesforce animation. The streaming API requires you to subscribe to records, as I say. This is just a basic information on a trailhead. I have some trails that you guys can follow. What it does is just a simple query and says, okay, I'm interested in this data based on this query. Okay? And then when that happens, I'm subscribing to deleting, update, or create data, and then you have your API version there. What are the use cases? Because Jeff, you're dying, right? Look at, he's desperate. Where can I use it? So this is honestly, I don't know who has not thought about this, but this is endless. Have you guys seen a study that says that if a nurse doesn't wash his or her hands in a hospital, you can have millions of dollars of loss in revenue? It is a reality. So have you gone to a bathroom in a hospital? It's a tiny thing, and sometimes it's locked, right? So can you connect the badge to Salesforce and then connect the faucet or the soap dispenser or even the flush handle to Salesforce? Yes, you can track all that, right? You can track right away who went to the bathroom and didn't wash their hands with soap and trigger something, and then you can use anything with that. Think about what else. This is in Argentina, actually. I was coming, sorry, this is in Uruguay. Sorry, Uruguay people, they're going to be mad about that mistake. So I was coming out of a gas station. And then in that gas station, there was this little thing. And then basically you say, how was your service today? And I saw it, and it's not connected to anything. But I was like, wait, if I am doing customer service, and then suddenly I see that thing, I connected to Salesforce, and I see that somebody left and wasn't happy about it. I already know that last transaction, right? I may have the email of the person that is registered. I may be able to send in a new coupon and say, we're sorry you have a bad time. Here is a coupon, right? Or even so, if you see that every day Jeff works at the gas station and people are not happy, I need to have a talk with Jeff, right?
And then you got the little kids that are going to come up and push the button 20 times.
But imagine that. You have a full cycle of data that you can do for your clients. It is just endless. Food services. Remember, there was an outreach about somebody in a burrito company. Something happened. You can do all these things. You can basically connect almost anything to the internet in Salesforce, and then you just use the rest of the platforms to make sense of that data. So let's try to do a little demo, and I'll show you guys a few of the code.
All right.
And then Jeff is going to be helping me too.
Oh, okay, sounds good.
We have 9 minutes. People are texting me. Stop texting me, people. All right. So we have a few things. So right now what I have here, this is BNC. This is just basically I'm connecting into a Raspberry Pi keys over here. At the end, you guys can come and see it. I have a whole set here that I cannot show. But basically, I have a Python code that I'm going to show you. And then I can run that Python, but I'm going to show you the code first so you guys can see it, all those who are developers. So the whole thing is starting Arduino. Arduino, it's C code. And what I do is just basically grab 3 sensors that I have in there. You guys can see the cable. And then put that in a variable. Very easy. Goes into a loop that basically goes and checks in a serial mode every time something happens, right? 96,000 bits per second. That's the speed that it's checking. And every time that happens, it takes that. I get an average. I don't use this anymore. To be honest, the first time I presented this, I have a mistake on my electron. It's fixed now. But what I'm doing, I'm creating a fake JSON. So what I'm doing is saying, OK, I get a value, and then I print that value into a text. But look, I'm adding some fake JSON to it, and I'm sending that to the Raspberry Pi. The Raspberry Pi is very easy. I'm using a library called Simple Salesforce, and the only thing that it's doing is also cycle at the same speed, 96, and it's reading that, and it's updating a record inside Salesforce. Do you guys remember what I say? When did I did this, Jeff? 3 years ago.
Yeah, because this is version 2.0.
What
right?
we didn't have 3 years ago? Who remembers? We didn't have platform events, right? So when I was doing this demo, instead of inserting many records, I did just an update because I didn't want to get to my limits, okay? Nowadays, look at this beauty. Platform events, create records, and do something with your records. You guys can go all around here. There's a lot of IoT. There's a lot of platform event things that are happening that you can see. You can just insert records into Salesforce and do something meaningful. This is my Python code. Everything is going to be available. We're going to give you the presentation, and you guys have it to get the code too. What we do next is just send this to Salesforce, and in here you can see that I'm using just a username and password and my token. You cannot see it there because this is a presentation. No, I don't want anybody to have my code, but I'm grabbing that from another file and then just passing that through every connection. After that, this is the beauty of platform events. I just subscribe to a channel, which is Drums Update, and I tell them, hey, did you get something over 100? And if it does, I just display an animation. I go to processing instant and move the balls. You guys are going to see those balls moving. And then you get the processing programming down here. Look at this. It's Java code inside a web page. It's just beautiful. I mean, my Sublime cannot even recognize it. It's just basically mathematical code to be able to draw the ball, move the ball, spin the balls, they collide, all those cool stuff. And then it gets even easier. When you use platform events, you don't even have to subscribe. You just type the platform event name, which is the Cajon _E, because it's an event, and that's it. The rest of the code is the same. So when these guys in your way say, oh, we're using platform events, I only have to change one line of code, and now I was in a whole different game with this. So let's see if we can make it work. If the gods of demos are with us, we may be able to make it work. So the only thing that I'm doing here is just running my Python. And then Jeff, did you practice?
Yeah.
No, did you?
Did you need this?
No.
Oh.
So start strumming as hard as you can, Jeff. Get it going. Hard.
Harder?
Harder. Hard. There it is. You see that? So you start getting some data in there, and then that's just raw data, right? And then what's happening, we receive that data, and look at that. That's an animation inside Salesforce already after, how many seconds after Jeff played that? That's just fast. So this is just a simple, super geeky demonstration. But just think about everything that you can do. I was just thinking, we were in the Latino party Tuesday, and then they were counting how many people was there with a clicker. And I was like, why don't you just put something on the floor, put it on Salesforce, exit and entry, and then it counts how many people is there, right? And then you get more than 300 people, send an email to the boss. Hey, they are not compliant. Anyways, so that's the code. That's simple. I'm going to make that available to you guys. In the presentation, I have all the links that you need to see this. I got a bunch of links for you guys that you guys can review to learn more about this. There's my blog in there. I have all the codes there. Step-by-step instructions are there. You're welcome to go to my website and check that out. And also, I'll let you guys take a picture. And we have a few trails. API basics. And that's it. Thank you, guys.